I'm so excited to be here with Prerna Malik and Mayank Malik to talk about how to land dream clients, even though you are maybe in India or Iceland or who knows where you are in the world. Have a small maybe list, and yeah, you can be speaking another language and you can still land a client in another language. How they have done it, they're going to share that with us in this episode. But Prerna and I already met many, many years ago through an online business course that we did. So it's great to reconnect again. Welcome on the show, Prerna and Mayank.
Thanks so much for having us, Sigrun. Really excited.
Yeah, very excited to be here, and yeah, looking forward to just sharing all of this, with your audience. So really looking forward to it.
So I am now in Reykjavik, Iceland. You can hear the echo in my room because I just moved into my penthouse. I think this is the first episode I record in my new home office in my home in Iceland. And you are in India. Which city in India are you in?
So we're in a city called Gurgaon, which is a suburb of New Delhi. New Delhi is the capital of India, and Gurgaon is about 30 minutes away from New Delhi. So yeah, we're on, the opposite ends of the world.
Yeah, so it's 10 a.m. for me. What time is for you?
It's just a little after 3 in the afternoon for us.
So not too bad. So it's not like when I'm interviewing sometimes people in Australia, I have to maybe, stay up very late or they have to get up very early. So this is kind of a decent hour for you and decent hour for me. It's great. So yeah. I want to go back to that time where we met first, Prerna, through this online business course. Mm-hmm. What were you doing in your business then, and why did you decide to go online? Like, what was going on? And we want to kind of take the story, of course, to what you're doing today. But I always like to understand where people come from and why they do what they do.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we met way back, I think in 2013. So that was, just, we were in business a couple of years. And at that time, what we were doing was social media management and blog content writing. So a lot of content marketing and digital media services for small business owners. And even then, at that point of time, we were working with the US, Australian, and Canadian market, even though we've always lived in India, and yes, English is not our first language. So, but yeah, that's what we were doing at that point of time. It was really, really great because we worked with some really amazing business owners. Tish Ryder of Simple Mom was one of our clients. We also worked with Andrea Ayers of Launch Grow Toy. There were a lot of really good business owners that we worked with. But what was happening is that what we felt was like clients were, coming to us and asking us like, oh, we're also launching a program. Would you write a sales page for me? And I've written sales pages for our products, but not really, for a client, or sales emails for a client as such. And at that point we started, because people were asking us to do that, we felt like, it would be better if we would learn, if I could learn copywriting properly before, just going ahead and saying, yeah, just because I'm good at writing, I do a good job at a sales page too. So I really wanted to understand how that worked. And so I took a couple of courses, joined a copywriting mastermind as well. And one thing led to the other. And then, today we pivoted entirely from social media about 5 years ago, was it?
5 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, 5 years ago into purely conversion copywriting and launch strategies for online course creators, coaches, and consultants.
So how did you land those first clients? When you say English is not your first language, and I like that, it's not my first language either, and here we are speaking in English together. How did you start getting clients internationally? Because I think a lot of my audience is interested possibly building a business in English, even though they're based maybe in Germany or Switzerland. And they're wondering, how do you get started? How do you get those first clients? Did that did joining that online business program, like being surrounded with other English speaking entrepreneur help, or did you use some other routes?
Yeah, no. So I'll have to like kind of, backtrack a little and take you further back, because when we joined that online business course, the one that you and I were in together, we'd been in business for, I think, a couple of years at that point of time. And it was more to kind of learn, like, are there any gaps in our marketing that we could kind of fill and all of that. But the fact is that I started with a blog and I'd started writing, and I like kind of sharpened my writing skills quite a bit. So when we decided to get into business and move from just the mom blog model to like a business, which actually happened when Mayank got really sick. He had an autoimmune disorder and he was in a lot of pain, and he had to leave work, his corporate job, and he was on bed rest for about a year. So when we started like working on his lifestyle, on his diet, and just kind of helping him get better. And that point he decided, we had to take a decision. Would he go back to work, or would we pursue this part-time blogging thing as a business? So that's when we kind of thought, like, let's give this a shot and see if, the blogging thing can become a business. And that's pretty much how we got into business. But the fact is that I did spend a bit of time reading a lot, and understanding that I, needed to kind of have a certain way of approaching clients. The first few clients, honestly, Sigrun, we landed through warm email pitches. This is, again, I'm talking like way back in the day, this was not the day of sending like, a lot of personal videos or a lot of, this is like 2011, I had a Blogspot blog. So it was, like really way back. But warm email pitches were our #1 marketing strategy and helped us to get those first few clients. In fact, even like for some of our social media clients, like Tish and Ryder, for that matter, she was a blogger. She had a mom blog and a huge brand, but I was a regular reader. So I reached out to her with, like saying that this is what I do. We offer this as a service. We know with the holidays approaching, or if it's in fact summer, with summers approaching, you'd want to spend more time with your kids. And this is something we'd love to take off your plate. So if this is something of interest, let's, kind of chat about it. And she emailed back saying, hey, I think that's like a really great idea. So.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I want to pick on that because I get pitches almost every day, and they're awful. They're awful. They don't know anything about me. They're horrible. We try to not respond to them, to be honest. And then they follow up, some of them. Why didn't you respond to my email? And I'm like, geez, like I'm on the verge of taking over the help desk and saying, WTF, like, who are you? What are you trying to achieve? Because there's no approach. You say warm outreach. What's the difference?
So cold outreach is like, something very similar to what you described, where everyone's getting, your email addresses are put into maybe a tool now. And, like these are these templated emails that go out that sound kind of personal, especially now. Like at that time, it was even like probably a few degrees worse, but now it's, there are those outreach tools, and I'm sure they have a lot of benefit and they could, help you save time. But we've always believed that there are certain things in business that still need a personal touch. And this is one of those things. So warm email would be where you would really take the time to understand the business. You would see how is it that you are going to bring value to it. And this is regardless of any service. In fact, this is true for our copywriting services too now. Yeah. You understand, like, how is it that you would bring value to the table for the client? What's in it for them? Like, to give you an example, like, when you're reaching out to someone and like someone reaches out to you and says, hey, Sigrun, I'd love to take over, say, podcast editing for you. They should have taken the time to understand or listen to your podcast, probably caught on to something where you said that, I'm struggling with this, and then tied it in with that, like in episode so I heard you say that, your podcast editors, on maternity and you really need help. So I was just wondering, would this be something of interest to you? And if so, let's chat about it. Like, just keep it open-ended. If not, no worries at all. Like, literally no worries at all. I would be, you know, I'm a fan, would continue to remain a fan. And, but I just thought I would let you know, and that's it. Yeah.
And so you send out these, let's say, warm pitches. They're prepared pitches rather than unprepared. Yeah.
Yes.
And then some people don't reply, I guess, and some people say no, thank you, and then you'd still get a few. Like, I think this is something that maybe people in Europe are scared of doing, or I don't know if that's my perception from my audience, that this is something that people are scared of doing. Like you saying, this works.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So it's worked for pretty much everything that we've done. And, you know, and then what happens is that all it takes is the matter of, you know, 1 or 2 pitches, and then you get that momentum, you get that confidence, and then it's up to you to show up and do a really good job, because landing the client is step 1, you know, working with and retaining that client, that's, you know, the next step is where you just show up and wow them so that they then talk about you to their friends. But then that's the other part of how we built this business. Absolutely. Is referrals. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even though we don't really do any warm pitching these days, because all our work comes through referrals, and we do a lot of repeat projects with our clients, but we still use the same principle of not having that fear to reach out. So a lot of the times you'd probably send a proposal, and the prospect at the other end is swamped with a lot of other things. It gets buried into emails. We've generally seen, if you follow up, tying in with what's happening in their life, they would just then want to come back and see and think about that project. So one should never really have that fear of reaching out.
And also maybe not be insulted if there's no reply or no thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. There's nothing personal here. This is business. And it is, and although business is personal, especially in our case, one needs to understand that there could be 1,000,001 reasons why someone chose not to respond. And unless you've got like very specific red flags around it, I feel like it's just, that's just a marketing thing that you need to chalk it up to and move on.
Yeah. So you had already been doing these warm pitches, you've landed a few clients, and then in 2013, you're honing your skills. What changed there? We know that being a part of a big community and coming into an international community can also help explode a business. Did that fuel more clients?
Being a part of the online course community that you and I were a part of was yes, helpful, but not to a huge extent. What really helped us was forming more personal connections with people in the community. I think that's how you and I met, and I've kind of followed your journey. So even though we may not be part of the community any longer, and the same was true for a lot of other people in the community as well, where you find people who align with you on, you know, on the same values, or on the same, you know, maybe it's just a shared vision for how you see the world. You know, maybe it's just you're excited by the work they're doing or how they're showing up, and you just want to be there to kind of cheer them on and be a part of that, you know, be a part of their support system. So for me personally, it was more just kind of getting to know people and just forming those connections. But yeah, I would say just whenever you join any online community, it's super important, big or small, you need to kind of take the time to identify, you know, say a handful of people who you'd really like to get to know better, and then just connect with them. At least that's what's worked with us. Maybe, you know, again, don't know if it's right or wrong, but it's worked. So yeah.
Oh, I totally agree. You know, I definitely got several clients from being a part of that community. But if I look back now, because I've left it because the community doesn't exist anymore, I can identify people around me. I'm like, I met this person through there. Even though the community doesn't exist anymore, I could probably name you quickly now 10 people that are part of my life today as a result of that.
Yes. it's the same for us. It's the same for us that, you know, and for that, I think that is what like goals should be. So while we weren't making like any active pitches to people in the community, we were definitely like taking the time out to connect with them, get to know what their business is about. And yes, you know, a few months down the line, some of them did turn into clients. And a lot of them have continued to become really good friends as well. So because it's been, you know, what, 7 years now, and we've just kind of seen each other grow, our families grow and all of that. So you just have that really nice warmth in the relationship now.
Yeah. So you talk about how to land clients from all over the world, and, you know, increasingly maybe known clients or someone who seems to be unreachable for the regular person. Does it just start with warm pitches and then referrals, or are there more parts to that?
There definitely are more parts to it. It does start with building that relationship and then reaching out to them and letting them know that, hey, you know, I'd be happy to be a part of your team. I'd be happy to help you with, you know, say you'd see that they've got a launch coming up, or if you're like, say, a launch copywriter like I am, or, you know, it could be, it could just be like, we also do consulting on things like, you know, your offer positioning. So if you feel like someone's, you know, needs help with that, we let them know. But I feel like that's like probably step one. The other things is just kind of understanding that you need to be really, really good at your work, because the best in the industry more often than not want to work with the best in the industry, you know? So you need to kind of understand that you have to, this is something that we constantly invest in and work on, is, you know, increasing your skills so that you can bring more value to the table. You may be I'm a specialist in conversion copywriting, but there is so much more that I can bring to the table in terms of things like launch strategy or offer positioning, or, you know, like, so you just don't want to, and even with launch copywriting, you want to be really good at that. Or if you're a graphic designer, you want to be really good at your craft. You need to constantly invest in your skills and constantly up level your skills so that you're not only confident in yourself, but then your clients start to see those results.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that we've sort of realized has worked really well for us is that you need to really have a genuine connection that you want to forge with that person. So it's not that you connect with them and then you're pitching your services.
Yeah.
So do you really respect them for what they're doing in the community? Do you respect the sort of skills that they bring to the table? Do you want to learn from them? So that relationship and connection builds over a period of time. And it's then a two-way process, because then they also start to get slightly intrigued and interested in what you're doing. Maybe if you're on the same sort of networks, they're seeing the sort of wins that you're sharing, the results that you're getting for other clients. And this sort of builds that momentum. And then at the right point when you feel that you can add value is when you really pitch your services.
It makes sense, especially for those who maybe offer courses themselves. Maybe you join their community, like if it's a dream client. If it's a dream client you want to land, it would be maybe you invest in joining their community to get closer to them. And is that how you started to work with some of those clients? Can you give us a story around that?
Sure. With so yeah, let's for instance, we've done multiple projects with Pat Flynn of Smart Passive Income, and in fact, our connection and relationship with him started way back. We were on his email list, and, you know, we're constantly like really engaged, watching his videos, commenting, like Mayank said, so showing up on different platforms, like supporting their work genuinely, because that was what we really needed as well. Like it was, his advice was really helpful for us, you know, when we were watching his videos and all of that. So we would like just participate in the community. And then he launched a program called Affiliate Marketing Made Easy. And affiliate marketing was something that we were interested in exploring and adding to our, you know, revenue mix. So it just made a lot of sense because we'd seen him do a really great job. So we signed up for his programs, you know, for the program, showed up, worked through it, got great results, shared that as well. Ended up giving like a really good video testimonial for him as well. And then, and then, you know, what happened was in 2017, in fact, I attended a lot of conferences in the US, and Pat was speaking at 2 of those, and I ended up meeting him in person as well. And then after that, I noticed that they were working on a launch for a new, for one of his flagship courses. So I reached out and let him know that, if there's anything that I could do to help, I'd love to be a part of the team and just kind of contribute. So, and this was not like an email pitch either. This was like on Instagram. And he was like, yeah, sure. Let's get on a call, and why don't you like kind of walk me through, how you could help. Got on a call. I walked him through my process, what are the things that I do for our launch copy clients and all of that. And that's how we signed up for the first project. And then I ended up also working on the Affiliate Marketing Made Easy course project as well. So those were all projects that they were looking to evergreen and, kind of looking at optimizing the results they were getting from. And then there was a third project that I ended up doing for them for another course that they were launching around email marketing. So one project led to another and another. That again has been, like Mayank was saying, we don't do warm pitches or a lot of marketing as such these days, in fact, for the last few years, because a lot of our clients are either repeat projects or, through referrals.
Yeah, but you didn't go into the relationship also with the aim of landing him as a client. Isn't that the difference? Like you're almost there for your own honest reasons, and it turns out, there's a potential much later in the process.
Yes. And that's important to keep in mind, because you wouldn't always have a situation where they probably need your expertise. So you need to go in seeing, obviously you want that to be a two-way relationship, but you want to see that, do you want to learn from them? And going back to the point, do you respect their skills and what they're doing in the community? And from there, you just see how that builds up.
Yeah. And what is the difference between your roles? You're like a husband and wife team, and Prerna is saying she's the conversion copywriter. How does this work with the two of you together?
Great question. So we started our business together, and always our role definition has been pretty clear. I'm the creative writer. I write, whether it was the content or now the copy, and Mayank oversees growth and operations for the business. So even for our clients, he's the one who's responsible for when we're working with consulting clients, for example, in our Momentum Mise Plus program, he's the one who's responsible for outlining their strategies and their marketing plans and all of that.
So you're kind of like a win-win team together.
Oh yes, that is exactly why, when I see a lot of other businesses hiring COOs, I am so grateful that I do not need to do that.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
so,
but I still have to say no for most unaccounted expenses.
So as you grow, I have seen it because I have a lot of copywriters as clients. There is this kind of limit, like you say, you still have different revenues. So now you don't just write copy for a client, because there's also a limit in your own company growth when you just do that. So you have your own products and programs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are those?
So we have a lot of programs at different levels. We have our initial consulting program which is more like we call it a rapid rise revenue session, where we just meet with clients who need our eyes on their offer or their positioning, or just need like a really quick I've mapped out this launch, like what do you feel like, are there any gaps in it? So it starts with that. And then we have Profits on Tap, which is our program for service providers who want to scale using, profit-rich packages, because that's how we've scaled our business. So it just makes a lot of sense for us to teach that. And we were actually getting a lot of requests from our fellow copywriters and service providers, like, okay, so walk us through how, because we're not an agency. We don't have there is just one writer, and that's me. So we're not like a team of writers. And that's the other thing that our clients, especially the ones who are at a certain level, really respect and like, is that when they hire me, they get me and not like a junior writer. So we've got Profits on Tap, which is like that, a 12-week program. And then we've got Momentum Mise Plus, which is our program where we consult with more seasoned entrepreneurs and create custom growth plans for their business. And and next year we're launching Ready to Sell, which is my evergreen launch copywriting program.
So will there come a time where you do not do copy for other people?
Maybe not. We've sort of discussed this over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's still something that really excites Prerna.
Yeah.
And there are bits and pieces of the copywriting, like the research process, which both of us do together. So that really excites me. So I don't think we are anywhere near the stage where we feel that copywriting is boring or we're just churning out stuff because we've signed on projects. But we have made a shift in the last couple of years to almost having two distinct parts of the business. So it's still mainly a copywriting business, but our revenue from copywriting services is more about 45 to 50%. We've sort of grown our programs now to an extent that almost about 30% of the revenue comes from there. And we are looking to evergreen them so we can have more participants join through the year. And it's obviously then easier for us to manage. Then the consulting piece that we also brought in about a couple of years ago, that adds to another 12 to 15% in the mix. And then about 5% is some affiliates, those sort of partnerships. So it's still, copywriting services are still about 50% of the mix. Maybe it's going to go down to 30, but we still do seeing doing those projects at least for the next couple of years.
That's inspiring to hear for those who are worried that if they start to offer courses that they cannot still, do what they did before. Is there any specific advice, as we come to the close of this interview, that you have for someone who is finding themselves in more like, it's almost like the hamster wheel, like, you just get constant, projects, but they're not getting out of the one-on-one wheel, so to speak. Is there any specific advice for those people?
I guess the one thing that's been a big turnaround for us was to put our brand, Content Bistro, as the first client of the month. And we do it every month. So if that means that you want to block off all Mondays in the month to work on your brand, for your products, for your services, you do that. If the shift is much bigger and you want to block off 2 days in a week, you do that. But unless you keep your brand or your business first, you would always keep getting client projects and then you'd never get off the hamster wheel.
Yeah. The other thing that I would, just add to that is like, that has definitely been a game changer. The other one is like understanding what value you're bringing to the table and continuing to like package that up into, into not just, you're not just charging by the hour, or you're not just charging by project, but the client gets to see exactly what they'll get. And at the same time, they see the value of that allows you to kind of increase your rates. So you don't have to work with that many clients, or alternatively, like reclaim your time. So you're not spending, so much time on every project, because you find that, there are certain things that I can do faster. So if I include that in a package or a project, the client still gets value, but I'm not spending that much time. So this is just something we teach in Profits on Tap, but it's been a real game changer for us as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what's next for you guys? What's coming up in the next 12 months?
First up, we're very excited about Ready to Sell, because that's going to be our flagship program for anyone who wants to learn everything about launch copywriting and evergreen launches specifically, because I've worked on launches for, I've of course done like $1 million launches for different clients, but and it's not just the A-list clients that we've worked with, but we've worked in launches in different niches. So I've done evergreen launches that have, are doing exceptionally well, like one sale a day in a niche, which is like so, offbeat. It's all about caring for succulents. So if, and that was her goal, was to just be able to sell a course a day. And she's like literally smashing that goal out of the park. So I've seen and tested out a lot of things that work for Evergreen Funnels. So we're really excited about launching that in January. So that's coming up. And then we're also really excited about launching a brand new version of Profits on Tap. But more than that, I think we're super excited about things going back a little to normal so we can start traveling.
Yes, we all want that.
Yeah. And of course, we've got some really great client projects lined up. In fact, we're like, at the time of recording, which is we're in December of 2020, we're booked out until April of 2021. So for copywriting projects. So it looks like it's shaping up to be a pretty good year.
That sounds fabulous. It's great to talk to both of you. I wish you the best for the next 12 months. And thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having us, Sigrun.
Thanks, Sigrun. It was lovely chatting with you.